The question of the day is, do bad black women come from bad black men? Now that's interesting to know because many black men would say no. I have no impact on what black women want to do. If you see Lizzo, Sexy Red, or Glorilla acting a fool, what does that have to do with me? And you would be right. I mean, it's not your fault that people decide they want to do what they want to do, especially when you have feminism and other agendas. But the question remains, are bad black women the result of bad black men? There's a young brother by the name of King Randall who's going to talk about this. Shout out to I Never Knew TV. I want to get into this reaction and then we're going to come back.
You were very hard on the brothers one time, right? I heard you saying that every black man should, especially black men without children, if I'm correct. Paraphrasing. I want to be clear. About to say, yeah. Right? Paraphrasing. Every black man without children should be mentoring some child, right? I agree and disagree. I'm going to tell you why.
I know too.
I agree in regards to, yes, brothers should be putting more work in and spending more time actually helping. I disagree with the reality of the capability of brothers doing that. What I've learned in my short life is that people who are highly skilled, highly talented, highly determined, forget other people don't have that. And I see that in you, right? You have the Marine vibe, you have the intellect, you have all these things. So it's kind of unrealistic to even, that's the part I disagree with. It's unrealistic to go ask the next man that can't even take care of himself to go give back to someone else.
Correct.
Right?
So my throw with that is to men who are complaining about the community and who have issue with said community. If you haven't said issue, what are you doing? And the first part.
Okay, so this is a great point. This is a very smart young man. I mean, he really gave, I think it was Roland Martin, a run for his money. He's saying, listen, if you're a black man and you don't have no problem with how things are, I'm not talking to you. But if you're a black man that has an issue with how things are right now, what are you doing about it? I think it's a very valid point. Let me just say this, he also says if you're a black man, you don't have kids, you should be helping some people in the community. Here's my pushback to that. Rewarding bad behavior is also something that will continue to keep the black community down, right? I feel like if a woman is having kids out of wedlock and it becomes my responsibility when she had a man in her life or she chose a man in her life and then I go and help said child, which I really don't have no problem with. I love helping people, but at the same time, that makes her emboldened to go out and do it again and make some other black men like, well, listen, you need to take care of my kids, spend time with them because you a black man with no kid. And that's the entitlement that's going to keep the black community behind. So that's where I kind of have some pushback. I'm not going to say that he's wrong, but I'm going to have some pushback because he's probably don't have kids and he's a young guy, right? But here's something I want to add. Even if you're a black man and you feel like you don't want to do that, don't deter other brothers in the community that want to do it. Let me give a shout out to Brother George Macon here in the background, Urban Nerds Foundation in Philadelphia, right? He's a brother out there in the trenches. Philadelphia's having a lot of problems with its youth, and he has the heart and the goals and the passion to help these young people who don't have a father. I've donated to the organization many times. I myself don't want to go out there to Philadelphia and do what he's doing because, I'm way over here in Africa. But I will give money to people who want to do that, right? And I think that's the situation. I'm not going to down talk something that I don't want to do, but if somebody needs the support for me to go and help these kids to go to Howard University for a weekend, then yes, I'm going to give my money. The problem I have is when we have black men and black women, but in black men in particular, they'll be talking down on brothers who want to go and give to the black community and help the black community. And when they do that, you don't want to do nothing but be critical of it, but you're not willing to do anything about it. If not, then I believe personally, then you shouldn't say anything about it, right? If you don't want to help. But for those people who do, if you don't want to spend your time, you can even give money, you can give some resources, you can do things like that. You don't have to go out there and spend your time, but for people who want to do it, you can always support them. right? You can always support our brothers and sisters out there who are doing the work in the community, even if you don't want to do it.
The first part you can start with is going to mentor a young man. And I'm not talking about, just financially or anything like that. You could take him under your wing and ask his mom, can you pick him up from school every day? And you holler at him or whatever like that, make sure he good, got maybe a $2 burger or whatever like that, and take him home. This is an hour, 30, 45 minutes a day or whatever. But these little small things you could do, help find a family. For those of you who can, find a family to feed,
So let me just say this. I think what we're doing when we do that, and again, I understand what he's saying, but why is the mom in that situation in the first place? Like, we want to stop that behavior, right? We want to stop women from having kids by men that ain't gonna be there because you can't be there all the time, right? And that's the situation. It's more impactful to look at situations where a woman is going to be with the father than a guy who's going to be there 20, 30 minutes, because we're not talking about the other 23 hours of the day that the child's going to be with the mother, who she has coming in and out the house. And if we're saying that we have the ability to change this child with our small interactions with him, it's a crapshoot, it's something, but it's not going for an ultimate solution. I think what he's talking about is more of a Band-Aid on the problem, instead of saying, hey, what can we do in the community to make sure that women have this education, don't get pregnant, work on trying to get him married. His father's going to be the best investment in his life. And I get what he's saying. And I mean, I'm not against what he's talking about, because we're in the bad situation in the community. But at the same time, man, these women will be taking this stuff for granted if you do it. They're not going to, I don't feel like they would be as appreciative as he thinks.
Help them out, see what they need, ask or teach, again, mentor some kids. It's not hard. And I'm going to say it's not hard, not for men who want to see the community do better, because most men who have the intellect to want to see the community do better are doing something with themselves. Mm-hmm. If you're doing something with yourself, you can do something with a kid. I can't sit back and say I want the community to be better and not do anything besides help myself. That is insane. I just think that's disingenuous. You could be doing something. And to me, I believe if you don't have any children, if you don't have a family at home, which many men I know don't, you could be doing something. And that's just doing something as simple as helping a kid with his homework, going to your local school. And local schools have these little programs where men can come in, do a background check on you or whatever. You come in and you can come every day if you want to, and come talk to kids while they at lunch or whatever like that. Like, do something. And imagine if every man that could did it, though. Imagine the type of change that the community would see, because then you're saturating the area with good men.
Okay, this is going to be a very important point. All right. Now, again, some things I think is shaky, but the young brother's on to something. Let's kind of get here.
I always said, my younger brother and I, we went 1 year to our 4th of July celebration in our hometown. These girls out there basically naked, and they letting guys come touch on them or whatever like that. And he's just like, why they letting them do that? I'm like, those are the men that are around. Women want men. So if those type of men are what's around, they're going to let those men do what they do. They don't think it's wrong because that's all they've seen. Or whatever. A lot of them, that's all they've seen. So imagine if you saturate an area with good men with certain standards, etc. The women are going to naturally gravitate whatever standards the men of the area have. So if you have an area saturated with terrible women, it's because the area is saturated with terrible men. They think that's the way to be because those are the terrible men that keep having sex and having babies with them. So if men would have sex with better women or have better standards for who they're going to sleep with, etc., if you make that better in those men, those women are going to just by nature follow the man and become better. So if you got to think, if let's say they grow up and all the guys are different now or whatever, but the girls are still trying to remain the same. And if none of the guys are courting them or seeing them, they're going to eventually start to change because it's like, all right, now I want a man.
Okay. He's making some points here that I can't deny what he's talking about. And I know this for me just being here, and just let me say, I know this, right? Men have a lot of power. And if you bring strong male leadership into a place, you bring resources into a place, and you get men working together. And the reason why we can't really see his point is because a lot of black men don't work together to, kind of have some level of altruism to build a community. But when you do, man, women are just prone to gravitate towards that. And because most women have never seen it. I'm not saying it's perfect, but what he's saying is true. When you get men in an area that are doing something, they're building, and they're producing results, women are going to adhere to that. And I'm going to give you a good example of what I believe is true is the Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam, and I'm not saying all the people, but in the 50s and the 60s, a lot of the converts, I'm not going to say a lot, but you had some situations where 5% Nation also, I believe, but Nation of Islam, Malcolm got converted in prison. And a lot of the women in the Nation of Islam, I won't say a lot, but at least there were some stories where some women are, in the streets living a lifestyle. And we saw the Nation of Islam produce women who in their former life was doing something completely different, toxic as hell maybe, into being healthy mothers, teachers of the communities. They have schools, they have restaurants. When you see a Nation of Islam woman, she's not acting like Sexy Red. She's not acting like any. That's why people in the black community, even if you're not in the Nation of Islam, you have so much respect for a Nation of Islam women because of how they carry themselves. And that's because of strong black male leadership, that the women are respectful no matter what they did in their former life. And this is something that the young man is talking about, is that if you get good men in an area, eventually, I'm not trying to put a time limit on it, but eventually those women will start to, behave in the way that they should, because they're going to want to be a part of that community, and they're going to want to do that, and they're going to stop. Some of them at least, some of them not going to do it. But if you have black men working together doing something about, absolutely correct, 100% correct, they're going to be acting right.
I want somebody to touch me or whatever, even if just to have sex once or twice. If men aren't having sex once or twice because you don't look the part or you ain't doing this or that, they're just going to change themselves automatically. They can say, oh, they don't do stuff for men. Everything.
That's true. That's the problem, because men let women stay as they are and still engaging in sex and still engaging in behaviors with them. And men are saying one thing but doing the other. That's why women don't have no respect for a lot of men in general. So what he's saying is absolutely true.
Everything we do is for women, and everything women do is for men. Say what you want or whatever, but that just is what it is. I know for a fact when I get my hair cut, it ain't for other men. It's for women to look at. I know when I shave my face, I know women are going to watch this video. So I'm like, it ain't for me. It ain't for you. It ain't for me to look cute to look professional. No, it's for women to see. This is period, point blank. I don't know if we're trying to act like it's different or not, but that's what it is. We do everything for women. With the car you drive, the clothes you put on, the cologne you wear, it's for women to see and women to smell, whatever. But if men had a different standard for what they wanted in women, then the women would change. For example, or guys like who have more money or guys they want, they're going to change for that man that they want. Even people don't realize, like, women who like a man, they will almost trick themselves into believing or making themselves into something that man wants. Whatever let's say she hates football. Just because she like him, she love football today. I love football. I don't know.
That's the power. Like, a lot of men, black men don't understand their power. A lot of black men don't understand what they can offer. And I'm telling you, like, I have my company here in production. It's all men for the most part. And the impact that these men have on our business and just on the community we're building here, it's insane. You have to really see it to believe it. Sometimes, because black men don't really work together a lot, we don't really know you don't even know how powerful you are as a black man and as a group of black men. You don't know your real value. As an individual, you may think you know your value, but imagine if you could work with like 10 or 20 of you every single day towards a common goal. You would have so much amazing force in your city. You would have so much amazing force. Like, I'm telling you, it would be crazy the level of resource and structure that you can bring. And that's why a lot of men that don't know their power, when they be like, oh, it's all hopeless, it's all a loss. And I understand what you're saying like that. But if you get black men ever working together, you see the power that black men have. Black men can change a lot of stuff, man, like overnight. That's the power that men got. But men just can't see it because we're so clouded with not being able to work together. We're so clouded with excuses. We're so clouded with everything else. But The thing about it is, bad women, you see no man around, bad men around. Good women, good black male leadership, good leadership everywhere. I was in Dubai about 2 months ago. Dubai is running very well as a city because the leadership is great. And every time you see great development, is great leadership. Great leadership. So the same thing goes for black men. It's not a shot at black men, but I just want black men to understand you have a lot of power, whether you believe it or not. So guys, check out this channel, I Never Knew TV. They have excellent interviews over there. Check them out. Go over there, subscribe. Check out King Randall. Also, I'm out.